Hello my dear students. So first of all, belated happy Deepavali to all of you. I hope you all have enjoyed your Deepavali very well. And now it's time to get back to your studies. So let's get started.
So class 6, we are continuing your chapter number 8, ratio and proportion. And we are taking another topic today, that is your proportion. So what is a proportion? Four quantities A, B, C and D are said to be in proportion if A ratio B is equals to C ratio D. Okay, so if this A ratio B is equals to C ratio D, then these four quantities A, B, C and D, where this A, B, C and D are your variables. Okay, so they are said to be in proportion, and you can also say that A upon B is equals to C upon D. Okay, there is another way of showing the proportion, that is where A ratio B is as C ratio D. Okay, this sign is read as, this sign is read as is as. Okay, and this is also a way of showing the proportionality. Now I am taking two ratios. First I am taking your 12 upon 16 and another I am taking your 6 upon 8. Okay, now reduce them to their lowest form. When you cut it, you will cut this from table of 4. 4 3s are 12 and 4 4s are 16. Okay, by after reducing 12 upon 16 to its lowest or simplest form, what is it is giving 3 upon 4. Now reduce this 6 upon 8 to its lowest term. What it is giving 3 upon 4. 2 3s are 6 and 2 4s are 8. Okay, so you can see that this ratio 12 upon 16 and 6 upon 8 after reducing to lowest form giving 3 upon 4 only. So from this we get a conclusion, that is 12 upon 16 is equals to 6 upon 8. Okay, or you can say 12 ratio 16 is as or proportional to 6 ratio 8. Okay, so this only I have written that four quantities A, B, C and D are said to be in proportion if A ratio B is equals to C ratio D. And here this is known as your A, this one is your B, this one is your C and this one is your D. Clear? This first term, this is known as your first term. This A is known as your first term. B is your second term. This is your third and this one is your fourth term. Clear? So in a ratio we are having four terms, that is your first, second, third and fourth. Clear? Now class, next we are having that I have written a ratio that A ratio B is equals to C ratio D. Okay, it means these four ratios are in proportion. Now the term A and D are called the extreme terms. Okay, this A and D are called extreme terms. Why? Because they are at the extreme position. Okay, so they are called said to be your extreme terms, or they are also said to be extremes. Okay, and the middle term, that is B and C. B and C are called middle terms. They are called middle terms as they are in middle, or they are also said to be as means. Clear? Now we are having a cross product rule. What is your cross product rule? That the product of extremes is equals to product of means. Now which are your extremes? I told you the terms on the corners. Okay, these are called your extreme terms. It means the product means A into D is equals to B into C. So if four ratios are in proportion, then the product of extreme terms must be equals to the product of their means term. And suppose if they are not coming equal, so it shows that A ratio B is not equals to C ratio D. Okay, so if they are coming equal, then it means they are in proportion. If the product of the extreme and the product of the means are coming equal, it means they are in proportion, and if they are not coming equal, it means they are not in proportion. Clear? Students, we are starting with exercise 8.2. In the whole exercise, you only have to find whether the ratios are in proportion or not. They might be changing the language of the question, but basically you have to find out whether they are in proportion or not. So I am doing your question number 1 and I am taking third part of it. Okay, so they have given you two ratios, that 14 ratio 4 and 18 ratio 6. Now you have to find out whether they are in proportion or not. So just write down 14 upon 4. When you cut it, so 2 sevens are 14 and 2 twos are 4. What you are getting? 7 by 2 after reducing it to the simplest form. And second ratio is your 18 upon 6. Okay. Now 6, the 6 with 12, 6 3s are 18 and 6 1s are 6. So as you can see that after reducing 14 upon 4, you are getting 7 upon 12. Sorry, 7 upon 2, and after reducing this 18 upon 6, you are getting 3 upon 1. It means these ratios are not in proportion. So you simply write that 14 ratio 4 is not equal to, okay, I told you this is not equals to 18 ratio 6, and this will be your answer, or you can say they are not proportion. Clear? Question number 3 is find which of the following are in proportion. So I have taken a B part of it. Okay, and you have to find that whether they are in proportion or not. So when they have not given you ratios, what you do, I told you the cross product rule. We will use the cross product rule over here. So first you will do product of extremes. Okay, so what are your extreme terms? I told you the corner ones, so 2 and 5. So you will write 2 into 5. 2 5s are 10. So your product of extremes is coming 10. Now you find the product of means. So you will write product of means. Okay. Now what are your mean terms? 3 and 4. So you will write 3 into 4, and 3 4s are 12. So as you can see, the product of extreme, that is 10, and the product of mean, they are not equal. This product of extreme is not equals to product of means. It means you will write hence 2, 3, 4 and 5 are not in proportion. Clear? Because I told you that they are in proportion if A into D is equals to B into C, and as they are not coming equal, so they are not in proportion. So both the methods are right, whether you do the ratio one or whether you do with the cross product rule. If they are coming equal, so they are in proportion. If they are not coming equal, so they are not in proportion. Question number 4, I have taken first part of it, in which they have given you two ratios and they have put a equals to sign between them, and you have to find that whether this is true or false. Okay, it means you have to check the proportionality only. So first just check this one. So I am writing 39 upon 36. Okay, both 39 and 36 will be divisible by 3. So 3 1s are 3, 3 3s are 9, and 3 1s are 3, 3 2s are 6. So after reducing this 39 upon 36 to the lowest form, I am getting 13 upon 12. Clear? Because now we cannot cut this one. Now we will take the second ratio, that is your 26 upon 24. Okay, again both will go in the table of 2. So 2 1s are 2, 2 3s are 6, and 2 1s are 2, 2 2s are 4. What it is giving to you? 13 upon 12. Clear? So you can see that when you are doing reducing this 39 upon 36 to the lowest form, it is giving you 13 upon 12, and when you are reducing this 26 upon 24 to the lowest term, it is also giving you 13 upon 12. It means that both the ratios are equal. So you can say this statement is true. Okay. Now students, next topic we are having your unitary method. Okay, now what is a unitary method? A method in which the value of a unit quantity. Now what do you mean by this unit? Unit means your 1. Okay, unit means 1. So a method in which the value of one quantity is first obtained to find the value of any required quantity is called your unitary method. Okay, so what we do in unitary method, first we find the value of one quantity. Okay, and when we got the value of one quantity, then we can find the value of any required number of quantities. Clear? So the question arises how you are going to find the value of one quantity. Okay, so here I have done two examples of it. So your first example is the cost of one pencil is rupees 5. Okay, what they have given that the cost of one pencil is rupees 5. What will be the cost of 10 such pencils? So what will be the cost of 10 such pencils? This we know very well that how we are going to do it. I told you in 5th class, I told you that whenever they have given the value of 1 and you have to find value of many, then you do multiplication. Okay, because the cost of one is always less than cost of many. Okay, and when you have to increase a number, that time you have to do multiplication. Okay, so if cost of one pencil is 5, then the cost of 10 pencils will be 5 into 10, and 5 pens are 50. It means cost of 10 pencils will be 50. This is clear? Okay, so we have learned that how we are going to find the cost of more items when we know cost of one item. Clear? Now how we will find the cost of one item when we know the cost of many. Okay, so here I have done another example, that the just inverse of this I have written. The cost of 10 pencils is rupees 50. Okay, so let us consider that the cost of 10 pencils is rupees 50. Find the cost of one pencil. Okay, so I told you when they have given you cost of many and you have to find the cost of one, that time you have to do division. So what you are going to do? You will do 50 divided by 10, and when you divide it, what you are getting? 5. It means the cost of one pencil is rupees 5. So students, in our next video, we are going to start your exercise 8.3 based on your unitary method. Till then, take care of yourself.